Yes.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, my name is Matthew E. O'Neill. I am the #1 ranked editor for Everipedia.org. It's an internet encyclopedia set based out of Santa Monica, California. Basically, I am the #1 ranked editor because I'm in contact with all the major personnel of Everipedia. I'm in contact with Larry Sanger and all the major employees. I have created pages for some of boxing's biggest stars, including DeMarcus Corley, Paul Vaden, and former IBF champions Robert Allen. Now, basically, I'm very, very new to this. This is the first episode that I've ever done. As you can tell, I'm probably a little bit nervous because I'm brand new to this. I've never done this before in my entire life. I have an interest in boxing because I boxed myself. I beat Preston Hartzog when he was in the U.S. Army World Class Athlete Program. Hartzog was a super heavyweight boxer, and I beat him conclusively by TKO. Now, I found out afterwards that Preston Hartzog was a 1997 U.S. Armed Forces champion, and he was also an Army champion twice. Preston did have a good heavy punch, but probably not big enough to be a top-level professional. Preston Hartzog was a sparring partner for Vitaly Klitschko, but he just didn't have the one-punch power to compete at boxing's highest level. I also beat a top scholarship athlete named Jeffrey Knockin. Knockin was on LSU National Baseball Championship team twice. I had a background in basketball and baseball. I played boys club basketball at Division I in high school. They had a Division I program, and I could score points on a 10-foot net and also play my position properly. And when I was 11 years old, I actually hit the ball over 200 feet. I wound up using the Air Force's facilities on a security base called Schreiber Air Force, and I used the facility for 3 years. I got to that point based upon my run time in Mississippi. When I lived in Biloxi, Mississippi on Keesler Air Force Base, I could run 4 to 6 miles at a brisk clip. One of the master sergeants noticed my foot speed, and because of my foot speed and my push-ups and generalized aptitude, I wound up on Falcon Air Force Base. It's in Colorado Springs. The base was changed to Schreiber Air Force Base in 1998. I learned about circuit training and stretching and how to prepare for competition. You always want to prepare for competition by doing outdoor running. The key is the 4 to 6 mile runs. And I think that I won because of my foot speed, which resulted in fast-twitch muscle fibers. It's a score knockout for us. State of the boxing game, of course, in professional boxing right now is uncertain because of the global coronavirus pandemic. They're not really sure if they're going to have any real major shows anymore. Are they going to still have fans in attendance? Will that ever happen again? Boxing, I think, will come to the forefront, and boxing will be maybe the biggest sport again because of the gambling, because people like to see the over-under rounds picks. People like to see knockouts. Vegas, I lived in Las Vegas for years, and gambling was one of the biggest sports in all of the casinos. On a Friday and Saturday night, HBO fights would be showed, and they would show all of the fights, and believe me, the sports books were filled. Grown men, they would wager the money. So a lot of people don't understand that boxing is huge in Las Vegas. It will always be so. They're always looking for young, strong people to be boxers. Boxing is also very dangerous. I heard that Preston Hartzog died in 2006 of a heart attack. I got in contact with Willie Chapman, who beat Preston Hartzog, and Willie Chapman said that Preston Hartzog killed himself. Either way, there is a tremendous, tremendous risk associated with boxing. To think that someone could box for 20 years, I don't understand that. I don't understand how someone could box for so long. This is the first part of a 7-part series called the Everipedia Boxing Show. I'm going to have guests on the program, former professional boxers and former top-rated amateur boxers, to talk about their career. Basically, what I'm looking to do is to get 5 to 7 ex-pro boxers on this show where they will discuss their career and what propelled them to have successful careers, what things they did to be successful as boxers, and what boxing meant to them. During my time in USA Boxing in Colorado Springs, I learned that one punch can't end a fight. And in the heavyweight division, it should. I had one punch power because I trained in a certain way. Again, my name is Matthew O'Neill, and my career has been covered by MaxBoxing.com and author John J. Raspanti. Raspanti has authored Intimate Warfare and Blood on My Notebook. Both of his books are found on Amazon.com, and Intimate Warfare is in the Chicago Public Library. My career has also been covered by Into Boxing, which is a United Kingdom-based company. And Jamal Parker wrote a very detailed account of my career this year. I was covered by Max Boxing in 2018 and Into Boxing in 2020. I've also been on Fight News Unlimited Combat Sports Show with Rich Bergeron, discussing my career. Rich Bergeron is an ex-reporter for the Patriot Ledger. And I was also on The Grueling Truth with Mike Goodpastor. Mike Goodpastor is a former head coach and player personnel for the Continental Indoor Football League. I spent a lot of time training to be a boxer myself. Of course, when a guy fights on television, the only knock I have on him is that he actually prepared properly for his competition date, or did he just do it to get paid? If you had hundreds of thousands of dollars or $1 million coming in, do you want to train a week before the fight? Nobody wants to sprain an ankle. Nobody wants to tear a knee before the fight. Did you run up to the lead up? Did you stretch? Did you prepare properly for the match? Or did you just do it to get paid? And I think many pro boxers, after they lose and after their career is over with, they ask themselves that same question. Did I prepare properly for the event? I most assuredly did, as I spent year after year on a security base in Space Command. Now, Falcon Air Force Base in Colorado Springs did not have base housing. And if you lose or gain weight, you get locked in your portal. It was a security base in Space Command. Falcon Air Force Base was renamed Shriver Air Force Base. I ate the base facility's food and used the facility. But I paid for my own training. And I trained off the base. And I used my money and I funded my own boxing program as well. So I was given a direction. I had good fast-twitch muscle fibers. Obviously, state athletic commissions don't want to see a string of just knockouts. They don't want to see guys get knocked out cold. I talk to people who knock professional boxing because of the career aspects. How can a person box pro for 20 years? It's in their constitution. Many of these guys have very strong heads, like Julio Cesar Chavez and certain fighters. They can take a hell of a good punch. I actually support the comebacks of Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, and Oscar De La Hoya. I think it's good for the sport. Because ageism is like racism. It should not exist. Right? I think they deserve a chance to compete. Yes, they're in their 40s and 50s. But they should use better discretion. If they don't think they can win, do a corner retirement. Just as Tony Ayala did against Yuri Boy Campus back in 2000. Tony Ayala Jr. spent 16 years of his life in prison for rape. He got out of prison. He came back as a middle-aged man. When they knew things weren't going to go his way, they stopped the fight in between rounds. And that's what should happen with the Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, and Oscar De La Hoya situation. Let them fight. Let them bring fans back to the sport. But every fighter should know if they can't win. I'm not going to call a man a coward for quitting in between rounds. If they want to quit in rounds, save a ring fatality. I don't want to see anybody get injured. Amateur and pro boxing, I did not necessarily have pro skill level. Fast hands, good speed, and some strong athletic aptitudes. But I've also first put on a pair of gloves at the age of 1. There was Adam Sawyer did in Colorado Springs. That competition, I sparred with Adam Sawyer. Adam Sawyer was paid to compete. He won Mighty Man competitions in Colorado Springs. I took his best punches. I think that when I sparred with somebody, I lifted up my skill level. A better fighter quicker. I don't have a string of concussions in my past. Was to knock on kids that box. They hurt themselves. Possible, you know. Nobody ever hurt. I beat a U.S. Army champion. I beat a athlete. But no, that is impossible because you can box semi-pros, and that will lift up your skill level. But television executives want to see a portfolio. They like kids box, they get them on television. I did not box as a kid. On baseball. And I get all sports. Number one rule for boxing, your opponent cannot underestimate you. And if he does, you have a decent chance to win if you're properly instructed. I also like to equate boxing to swimming in the deep end of the ocean. I have never drowned. I could first swim when I was eight years old. Someone taught me how to swim. And when there was no supervision, I swam out in the deep end of Morton Park in Plymouth. I never drowned. You can make it to rounds in boxing with good instructions. Maybe you don't win the round, but you can make it to rounds. Over the next few weeks, I'll be having top professional boxers show. There we will discuss where we think boxing will be years. Coronavirus. Boxing have to buy and leave books in their state. So I believe that boxing still will serve a great purpose to all of our trainers and managers out there. We can speak about the opportunity